Somewhere a very long time ago, in a small camp beside a fire, one woman is standing very still. She just noticed something. Something's different. She's not sure what yet. An older woman walks over, looks her up and down, doesn't say anything at first. Then she smiles this huge knowing smile, the kind that only shows up on someone who has seen this exact thing about 100 times before. And just like that, without a single test, a single doctor, or a single congratulations card, everyone in that camp is about to find out they're getting a new baby. No ultrasound, no calendar, no little plus sign on a stick. Just people watching each other, noticing things, and somehow getting it right almost every single time. So how did they actually know? And more importantly, once they knew, what did they do about it? That second question is where this gets really fun. Ancient humans didn't need science to notice that something had changed. They just needed eyes. And a lot of practice, the signs were the same ones people still notice today. A woman feeling sick in the mornings for no obvious reason. Suddenly not wanting food she used to love. Suddenly wanting food nobody else in camp could understand. Imagine a caveman watching his partner eat something bizarre and just quietly deciding not to ask questions. Tiredness that didn't match how hard she'd actually been working, and a little later the belly. Slowly, unmistakably growing. None of these clues alone meant anything for certain. A person could just be tired, or hungry, or having an odd day. But put them all together, watched by people who had seen this pattern before, and the picture became pretty obvious, pretty fast. Ancient humans were expert people watchers. They had to be. There was no other way to understand what was going on inside somebody. In almost every ancient group ever studied, there was always one person who figured it out before anyone else. Not a doctor. There were no doctors. Usually, it was an older woman. Someone who had been pregnant herself or helped other women through it more times than she could probably count. She didn't need to ask questions. She'd just look. The way she walked. The way her face looked in the morning. The little things only someone who'd seen it 100 times would notice. This knowledge wasn't written anywhere. There were no textbooks. It was carried entirely inside people, passed from an older woman to a younger woman, who would one day become the older woman passing it to someone else. A skill with no name, taught with no classroom, that never once stopped working across the entire history of our species. And once she was sure, the whole camp usually found out fast, because good news travels quickly, even beside a campfire 20,000 years ago. Here's the part that's genuinely lovely. The moment a community figured out a woman was expecting, things changed for her. Often immediately. In many ancient and traditional societies, pregnant women were treated with real, deliberate care, given more rest, given better or extra food, when food was available at all, which, let's be honest, in a hunter-gatherer camp was an enormous gesture. She'd be kept away from the most dangerous or physically brutal jobs, protected a little more carefully during travel. Watched over gently by people who understood, without needing it explained, that she was doing something important for absolutely everyone. Some ancient burial sites even show pregnant women buried with extra care and unusual attention, suggesting this respect didn't stop at daily life. It carried all the way through. Nobody had to write a rule about this. Nobody needed a law. The community simply understood, this person is doing something the whole group depends on, so we take care of her. Which honestly might be one of the oldest examples of teamwork our species ever came up with. And it wasn't just the pregnant woman who changed, the entire group started preparing. Extra soft furs collected for a new arrival. Older children put in charge of small jobs to help out, probably feeling very important about it. The most experienced women quietly getting ready to help when the time actually came. Birth itself, across an enormous range of ancient and traditional cultures, was rarely something a woman went through completely alone. Other women, often several, would be right there, supporting her, encouraging her, doing the exact same job midwives still do today, just without the hospital. Meanwhile, somewhere nearby, you can safely assume at least one nervous new father was pacing back and forth, doing something wildly unhelpful, and being gently told by every woman in the camp to go stand somewhere else. Some things, it turns out, have not changed even slightly in tens of thousands of years. And here's a detail that might make you smile. Across many ancient cultures, people loved guessing what the baby would be like long before it arrived. The exact same thing people do at baby showers today. Would it be a boy or a girl? Would it look like her? Would it look like him? Would it be loud or quiet or unreasonably stubborn? Just like its uncle, nobody had any real way of knowing any of it. They guessed anyway. Because guessing about a baby that hasn't arrived yet is, apparently, one of the most irresistible things a human being can do, and always has been. Same questions, same excitement, same complete inability to actually know the answer. Just, this time, ask around a fire instead of a group chat. So here's the full picture. No tests, no science. No idea why any of this was actually happening inside her body. Just people paying close attention to each other. An older woman who somehow always knew first. A whole community quietly shifting to protect and care for one of their own. Extra food. Extra rest, a nervous father being told to go stand somewhere else, and a baby, eventually, arriving into a group of people who had already spent months getting ready to love it. They didn't understand the biology. They understood exactly what mattered. And somewhere, impossibly far back in your own family, in a place with no name, at a time with no calendar, someone did exactly this. For you. Watched, noticed, made room, got ready. That's the whole reason you're here. Slow down. Think a little.